I'm Jeff Trenery. I'm a firefighter with Rock, and this morning I'm going to be doing a pre-walkthrough inspection and driving test with the California Department of Motor Vehicles. I'm going to do an initial size up of it. I'm going to check for the vehicle orientation, see how it's sitting, making sure that the vehicle appears to be sitting level and straight. I'm going to take a look underneath to see if there's any immediate fluids that are leaking. I'm going to take a look at the tires just from this vantage point to see if any of them are flat, which would be an indication of the vehicle leaning or suspension might be out. Just take a look at the lights up on top, running lights, make sure they're all in place, not broken. Look at the glass, the windshield, no cracks, the gaskets around, the windshield wipers. I'm going to check those, make sure they're not cracked, and they'll function properly if I need them. Looking at the headlights, make sure that they're in place, not cracked. The grill, make sure there's no obstructions in here, like debris flew inside here, or checking overall.
Sometimes birds.
Yeah, birds, or where we are, tree branches or whatnot. I'm gonna look at the wires in here to see if anything looks abnormal, out of the ordinary. I'm just gonna check the bumper and make sure it's secure. Check the running lights under here. Make sure the horn's all in place, siren, and nothing's blocking the obstruction. Gonna look at the lights on this side. Make sure my mirrors are secure. I'll adjust those before I get in and start driving. Check the operation of the doors. Make sure that the open down as a secondary means of escape if necessary. Going to check more of the glass on this side, gaskets, batteries inside here. I'm going to check that to make sure it's not corroded, not leaking. Check the running board, make sure everything is secure. I'm just going to do a quick observation from this point just to see if anything's leaking. I have some water leaking under there, that's normal. Take a look at this, initially the exhaust muffler and whatnot, just make sure it's not sagging down or hanging. Just look at the body panels, make sure that they're all in place, nothing's coming off, no dents, damage. Coming in the back, just gonna make sure all the hardware is in place, bumpers and stuff are fixed. Check my lights, tail lights, backup lights, reverse lights, brake lights, make sure they're all in place. Running lights on the tailboard. Take a look at any other hardware wiring that's maybe out of ordinary. Look for anything leaking in the back, differential. Look at the body panels on this side. Again, for any damage, things coming off. We have a lot more stuff on the engine than most commercial vehicles, so we just want to make sure all the stuff is affixed firmly.
Take care.
And just take a look at the exhaust over here. I'm just going to make sure that it's affixed firmly. Nothing's leaking, nothing's sagging down. Check the tail boards. Have more batteries in here. More body panels. I'm going to check this mirror. Make sure it's secure. Check the lights. Glass on this side. Gaskets. Whatnot. Lights. I know I have this one. This one's been here for a long time. That's not out of the ordinary. That didn't just happen. Check this door. Make sure this window works properly. That completes the pre-walk around. I'm going to tilt the cab forward now and take a look at some of the engine components. In here, it's locked. So I'm just going to do a real overlook of the engine just to make sure everything looks to be normal in its place. Nothing is immediately leaking, or wires or hoses are broken. Starting from outside working in, I'm going to take a look at my tires. I'm going to look for proper inflation. I'm going to look for proper tread depth, the 4/32 of an inch on the front tire. And I'm going to look for the condition of the tire, making sure that it's not flat. Making sure there's no punctures, penetrations, bulging, protrusions, that overall make sure the sidewalls look to be in good shape. I'm going to take a look at my rim, make sure it's not split, cracked, bent. I'm going to look at my lug nuts, make sure they're all in place, and make sure they're not loose. I'm going to verify that by indications of rust. We do that. I'm going to look at the axle where all the bolts are, make sure they're in place. There's no leaks or leakage in there. I'm going to look at the outside of the brake drum from this vantage point, make sure it's not cracked. On the inside, I'm going to look, make sure there's proper amount of wear left on from where I can see with the brake drums and the shoes. It's difficult to see.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make sure all the hardware is in place and all the steering linkages looks like it's there. It's been properly maintenance, greased. I'm going to look at my slack adjusters, make sure that at a 90-degree. I'm going to look at my brake chambers and all the hoses associated with all that going in, the air hoses. Look at the shocks, make sure they're not leaking. I'm going to take a look at the leaf springs, make sure that they're like they've been greased properly. There's no more than 25% broken. And I'm going to make sure there's no obstructions in the suspension that would obstruct the movement of it from working properly. I'm going to look at the frame rails from where I can see to make sure there's no cracks or damage in there, nothing bent. And I have the over here, and I'm going to do the exact same on the other tire too. Brake, suspension, all this is exactly on the other side, and I can do that if you like.
We'll just take a look at it.
Okay. On the engine on this side, I got the exhaust manifold. I'm going to look for leaks and already cracks in there, and I'm just going to trace the exhaust on the way down where I can see it. I have my radiator overflow.
It's so little.
It's hot, so I'm not going to pop that off.
I never seen one like that. It's cute.
And I have my air compressor and the hoses. I have my belts in here. I'm going to check make sure the proper tension, make sure they're not frayed or cracked. I got the water pump is right down there in the middle. I have some idler pulleys down in here, and I got the radiator hose. I'm going to check just make sure that they're not dry rot or leaking, and that they're firmly in place. I have an air box, and there's an air filter for the air compressor. I have the transmission dipstick right here, which we would test that while the engine's running. And right here I have the dipstick for the oil. Just gonna look at all the wires and electrical wires, make sure nothing's frayed. Take a look at the oil pan under there, the starter down here. And I'm gonna walk around to the other side.